rest is just a ghost.
Okay, so here's a list of things that we're going to go through in this video. Who is Ostrich? Strengths and weaknesses of Lucian. Lane threats and support synergies. Mid lane threats. Builds, runes, abilities, combos, and some bugs and some kind of things to watch out for. So let's get into it. Hello Lucian players, welcome to my Lucian Guide. My name is Ostrich and I'm currently a Grandmaster ADC player who has hit Challenger in Season 10. And I've been playing League of Legends for 7 years and Lucian for 4 of those years, with over 3 million mastery points on him. Let's start off by talking about Lucian's strengths and weaknesses. Strengths are that Lucian has a lot of burst damage with PTA. He's a lane bully because of the Q poke and because of the early PTA. He's very mobile. He can juke around, dash around a lot. He has a high potential to 1v1 and 1v2 because of his mobility. He doesn't rely on peel to be effective. He has a good amount of wave clear with his Q. He can be played mid, top, or ADC because of his burst, his long range, and his escape tool. The weaknesses is that he's the shortest range ADC, sitting at 500 range, which is the same as Sivir and Samira, so you're gonna have to position yourself perfectly so you don't get caught out. His ultimate is hard to aim if enemies are mobile or hide behind minions. He has mana problems, but you can go mana flow band and or presence of mind to fix this issue. He's hard to get out of situations if you dash forward, so you need to practice your rotations to get your dash on a lower cooldown so you can reposition and reposition and reposition. When you're behind, it is extremely hard to get back into the game, and you need to play aggressive in order to snowball, and enemies will know this and they will try to gank you because you have to play aggressive. Keep an eye out for that. So this here is the lane threats. I have 5 categories here: extreme, major, even, minor, and tiny, in that order. So extreme is very hard to play against, and tiny is very easy to play against. Here I have the support synergies from ideal all the way down to low. And last but not least, I have the mid lane threats of what I think is extreme to tiny as well. I do not have a top Lucian one because I don't really play a lot of top Lucian for me to make one like this. But if you want one, I can try to make one. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so first off, this image here is available in the description below for you guys all to save and use at any time. For now, I'll just be using it as a tool to explain all the builds and the runes, but this is an infographic that I created, you guys can check it out. Alright, let's talk about the builds now. So, the most optimal build to help you scale into the mid to late game will be Kraken Slayer, Berserker Greaves, Navori Quick Blades, Infinity Edge, and then the last 2 items can be situational, but I just put Sheraldo's Grudge with either a Death Stance or a GA. This will be the most optimal build to help you get the most DPS out as possible. You can build any of these 3 boots when you think it is necessary. Merc Treads into CC or for magic resist, Tabbies for armor into AD heavy teams, or assassins like Zed, and Berserkers as a default. These are the situational items. Lucian has a lot of different items that he can build, and it is important to know all of them and when to use them. I have all of these written out here for you, so I won't read them all. But again, this image is in the description, so you can save it and look at it later. This is the versus tanks build. The Blade of the Rune King's percent HP damage along with the true damage from Kraken Slayer makes it the best tank killing items in the game, especially when it's paired up with Quick Blades for DPS and Black Cleaver or Lord Dominic's for even more percent HP and percent armor shred. This is the versus assassins build. Shield Bow is the only defensive mythic item that ADCs can buy. Alongside plated steel caps, it should make it very hard for the assassins to kill you. You just need to remember that you will have a lot less damage, but you will stay alive, so you can potentially bait for your team to try to clean up. This is the build you take versus poke champions. Blade of the Rune King first item It's not typical, but in scenarios where you need the extra lifesteal, it can help you lane a lot easier. Late game, the rapid fire cannon will help you reach the long range champions, and the bloodthirster will help you get double lifesteal so you can heal up all the poke that they're dealing to you. Bloodthirster also gives crit now, so it's not that bad to get. This is the lethality build. You want to go this build if the enemy team will not be building any armor, so you can easily melt them with your abilities. This build relies on casting abilities rather than auto-attacking. Okay, so let's talk about the runes now. For the runes, you want to run Press the Attack with Presence of Mind and Bloodline if you're going full crit, so it gives you pretty decent sustain back late game. And you save an item slot. Or you can go Press the Attack with Alacrity and Overheal if you are going a lifesteal item first in your build, since the Overheal shield will effectively be in use once you buy your Vampiric Scepter, which should be your first item. Also, I don't want to flex too hard, but Doublelift is the one who told me about this tip when he was looking through my Lucian guide.
Yeah, I mean, I think Overheal works well when you have Bork. You should probably always take Overheal if you're gonna go Bork.
I'm a hard-stuck Masters ADC looking for a one-trick to climb with.
I like the guide, it's good.
What ADC would you recommend?
It's really thorough. I'm not gonna read through all of it, obviously. There's so
heal.
much in it. But I like it a lot.
Okay, on to the secondary runes. So, the optimal secondary would be Sorcery with Mana Flow Band and Transcendence. You can take this because Lucian has mana issues, so Mana Flow will help you spam abilities when you get Navori Quickblade. Transcendence also gives ability haste, which also allows you to spam abilities. And it refunds 20% of each basic ability cooldown on kill or assist at level 10 or at level 11 or higher. If you have weak laning or you're against a lot of poke, then you can opt for Inspiration with Magical Footwear and Biscuit Delivery. The Magical Footwear gives you more movement speed. It saves you 300 gold and 50 golds for the boots upgrade, but the downside is that it takes 12 minutes, so that you're pretty slow until then. Biscuit Delivery gives you free biscuit every 2 minutes and stops at 6 minutes. It gives you 10% of your missing HP and missing mana back, so it gives you good sustain in lane, whether you need it for the mana or the HP, it's nice to have. Okay, let's talk about Lucian's abilities. Lucian's passive is called Lightlinger. After using an ability, Lucian's next basic attack within 3 seconds shoots twice. The second shot dealing 50, 55, and 60% AD physical damage is increased to 100% against minions. If Lucian's primary target is killed before the second shot can go off, he automatically shoots another enemy. Your passive can trigger on-hit effects such as Conqueror or Sheen, and can critically strike for 100% bonus damage. This also works on towers. Be sure to use E on towers if you know you are 100% safe, or else the enemy will come and kill you. Your passive can also be silenced. I truly don't know why, because it's an auto attack and it's not a spell, but whatever. This is not in the tooltip in game, so no one would ever know this until it happens. So yeah, I'm telling you right now, please remember that this will happen to you, because Riot does not let you guys know about this interaction. Okay, so let's talk about his Q now. His Q is an ability that can be dodged simply by sidestepping, dashing or flashing away from it. Your main use of this skill is to poke enemies down by using it on minions to hit them through the wave. Pushing the wave, killing minions, and simultaneously poking is the most effective way to use this skill. So Lucian's Q scales with level, which means at low levels it's possible to miss, but the higher level you get, the less of a chance there is to miss. So this is important, make sure you remember that. And here's some of the examples you can see on screen here about how the higher level you get, the less of a time it takes to cast. You can also Q flash in order to avoid standing still during your Q animation, sort of like Lee Sin's kick flash. So here's a clip. This one might take a little bit of practice, but you can easily go to practice tool and try it out yourself. Okay, let's talk about his W now. Lucian's W throws out a star-shaped beam of light that deals magic damage, and it only scales with AP, rendering this ability useless. Try to use this to check bushes. The mana cost is too high. There's literally no point in using it early game other than to get your passive double shot off during a fight, or if you need the movement speed to run away, or to catch up to them. This ability allows Lucian to effectively use his ult because of the movement speed that it gives. I don't see any other reason to use this ability. Okay, if we take a look at this clip here, I made this Vayne rage quit because of how quickly I was able to one-shot her by using my W first in the combo, because it comes out the fastest. So you need to remember that anytime you want to one-shot someone, the fastest thing you can possibly do is start with W. Doesn't matter what you do after that, but always start with W, it will come out the fastest. Okay, so let's talk about his E now. This skill is what makes Lucian, Lucian. The fact that each time you use your passive, it lowers the skill's cooldown by 2 seconds is huge. This makes Lucian a very mobile ADC. By effectively using your skill rotations, you can use it to dodge abilities and reposition in teamfights. The skill can however be cancelled at the beginning of the dash, which will leave it on a high cooldown, so be quick and cautious when using it. Things like RE Charm or Field 6 Fear can cancel it. You can do a long dash or a short dash. Depending on the scenario, a short dash will allow you to do an auto attack faster than a longer dash, but the long dash is better for kiting. This ability can go through many small walls. As you can see over here, I'm going through the wall close to the red buff. And you can also do this on the other side of the map as well, which I will show you again over here. Lucian's E can also be used as a buffer, such as Tristana's W can buffer lots of different abilities. You can use Lucian's E to buffer some abilities, and one of them being a point and click stun from Pantheon. Lucian's ult, the Culling, allows him to start firing 22, 28, 34 shots in the target direction for 3 seconds. Each shot dealing 20, 40, and 60 physical damage to the first enemy it hits. The Culling is considered a channeled ability and it can be interrupted, but Lucian can move freely, including his movement abilities, without interrupting himself, which means you can use Gale Force, you can use his E at the same time while he ults. You can reactivate the Culling in order to cancel the ability so that you can get your passive Lightlinger shots, but be aware that you can't cancel the ult immediately. There's a short 0.5 seconds time that you have to wait. This ability is where Lucian gets lots of his damage from, so anytime you use your ult, you want to try to get the PTA proc off first so that the damage from each bullet is amplified. Do not ever use your ult for wave clear unless you absolutely need to, because the minion damage was nerfed from 400% to 200%, so now you don't do any damage to minions.
Stop it. Get some help.
Lucian's ult can also be used inside of Tahm Kench's belly, and it can also be used inside of Bard's portal while you're going through it. Seralda's Grudge can proc the slow from each bullet of Lucian's ult. Okay, so let's talk about some of the rotations and the combos. So here we can see the Q rotation. You always want to try to start with your auto attack because then you can get your PTA proc faster. So this is your W rotation. You can use W the fastest compared to using your Q or your E because they have a longer cast time. So if you want to burst someone quickly, you can start with W. This is the E rotation. This is when you use your dash first. So this is usually when you want to follow one of your allies' crowd control, or if you want to just try to chase an enemy down, you can always start with E. So this is the W+R combo. We've already seen this before earlier when I was talking about our ulti and our W, but this is the longest range ability that you have, which is your ult. And when you pair it up with your W, you get the move speed, so you can easily catch up to someone because each bullet from your ulti can proc the move speed from your W. So here I'm going to show you a couple clips now about how I use my decision making and my mechanics to try to outplay the enemies. And this also shows why you need to be practicing your rotations. So you can do this by going into practice tool, just maybe like 10 minutes a day. You can just keep doing your combos over and over again just to get the hang of it. If you guys do have time, you can please follow me on Twitch as well. It would help me a lot try to get partner. Thank you. If you guys prefer to read rather than be a visual learner, I also do have a guide on Mobile Fire, which has more of this but in written form. You guys can check that out. I'll leave it in the description as well. Alright, so if you guys have any other questions about Lucian, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'll be reading through everything. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.